The previously data mined balance changes to Zabu and Silver Surfer were both accurate and are finally here. Zabu is now a 2 energy, 2 power card with the ongoing effect your 4 cost cards cost 1 less with a 1 minimum, and Silver Surfer is now a 3 energy, 2 power card with the on reveal give your other 3 cost cards plus 2 power. In addition to these changes finally being implemented, we also got some clarity and communication from Second Dinner about the changes that they made, their expectations for them, as well as some insight into how they look for cards to make balance changes to. To start with, they note that not only was this not a light decision, but these changes aren't meant to delete Zabu or Silver Surfer from the game. And at the surface level, I think I agree with that. I expect both Zabu and Silver Surfer will likely still be playable after these changes. Will they be dominating metagame forces or just one among many different things that you can play? That remains to be seen, and it's going to take some time and testing for us and the people at Second Dinner to really figure that detail out. I'm not going to read this whole bit verbatim. I wanted to pull out part of the balance philosophy that Second Dinner provided for us here today, because I think it gives us a lot of great information as to things that they're looking at. Most notably, to start, they denote that their metrics not only look at the strength of individual cards, but also small clusters of cards, or as I often refer to them as packages that are frequently played together. An example of such a cluster would be Moon Girl plus Devil Dinosaur, or Darkhawk played alongside something like Rockslide and Korg, and I would wager Zabu as well in the recent metagame. They go on to talk about the metrics that they analyze when trying to determine if a card is potentially too strong. They look at its win percentage when drawn, its popularity, its cube contribution, and the number of cards a deck yields when that card is included in it. Similarly, for clusters, they look at very similar metrics as well. They also note that there's a human hand involved in this process, which is a good thing. They don't just automatically make changes to a card when it exceeds a given number of these tolerances. These tolerances simply put it on a watch list, which means their team starts watching it more actively and having a discussion about does it need changes and what changes perhaps should they consider making to it. Finally, they note that their overall goal isn't simply to turn strong cards into weak cards, it's to make the game more fun in general, which is a good thing. I know that fun is definitely a metric that's pretty subjective, but there's definitely certain design elements or styles of cards that a wider range of players finds fun versus unfun, and I think having that human factor be a consideration in the game design is important. If a game isn't enjoyed by a bulk of the players, even if the metrics say it's good, it's still not really something worth playing, and I'm glad that they're acknowledging this with their last paragraph here. I also think it's important to note that they say that if a change that they make prevents people from enjoying the cards that they have, they'll consider revising that change later on, meaning that any of these power downgrades, like we're seeing to Zabu and Surfer today, they aren't set in stone. If these cards fall completely out of the metagame, they could definitely be candidates to get buffs in the future. Overall, while I'm less than happy with the timing it took to get these changes implemented, I am happy with both the changes that they made. While we'll definitely need to play some games with these cards to figure out if they're good, bad, or otherwise, I think the baseline that they're starting with here for making these cards worse while hopefully keeping them still playable is a good spot to be in. As we move forward, what decks do you think are going to be some of the best choices in Marvel Snap? Personally, I think Shuri as well as the Death Wave archetype are probably going to be the big two to watch and make sure you can keep up with anything that you are looking to brew. If you think differently, I would love to know in the comments down below what decks I should consider checking out for highlights here on the channel. As always, if you enjoyed any of my musings on this topic, be sure to snap that like button to help this video reach some more people, and make sure you're subscribed to the channel if you're not already. I post game news updates, breakdowns, deck highlights, and everything Marvel Snap here 7 days a week. I'd love to see you back again. Happy snapping, folks, with freshly nerfed Zabu and Surfer.